This maid secretly mixed something unusual into the chocolate cake, her goal to teach her cruel ex-employer a lesson. When the employer saw the maid suddenly showing up to apologize, she arrogantly let her inside. The delicious cake was irresistible, while the maid stood by, quietly pleased, thinking to herself, "Go ahead, eat as much as you want." Wanting to show how magnanimous and superior she was, the employer actually invited the maid to come back to work, but the maid had no intention of returning. Confused, the employer asked, "What did you put in this cake? Why is it so good?" She had no clue about the special ingredient, thinking the maid was insulting her, until she suddenly realized the truth. That was the moment she understood exactly what she'd eaten, and it was all her own fault. 1960s white middle-class family in America. The employer would mark the toilet paper every day to check if Minnie had used her bathroom, because, in her mind, black people were just carriers of germs. But Minnie always brought her own toilet paper and secretly used the employer's bathroom. One day, it started pouring down rain. Minnie couldn't hold it any longer, but the employer hadn't left yet, and the bathroom for black people was far in the back, so she had to take the risk and use the bathroom inside. The employer noticed and followed her. Minnie carefully lifted the toilet seat, but was caught red-handed. With no way out, Minnie stopped hiding and was immediately fired by her employer. Not only that, the employer spread rumors, saying Minnie was fired for stealing, making it nearly impossible for her to find another job. Her husband took out his anger on her, even forcing their daughter, still in school, to quit and work as a maid. Minnie had enough, and finally served that special chocolate cake. But Minnie's story wasn't the only one. Back in those days, black maids were universally mistreated. They were basically invisible laborers in these homes. Minnie had a friend named Abby. She raised 17 white children until they reached adulthood, making life easier for all those stay-at-home moms, while her own children had to be cared for by others. The toilet issue was the same in every household. At one white women's gathering, Minnie's ex-employer even launched something called the Household Sanitation Initiative, suggesting every white family set up separate bathrooms for black employees. This was basically legalized discrimination. From then on, Abby could only use the outdoor toilet and couldn't use the guest bathroom anymore. But then things took a turn. A young woman named Nia came into their lives. Nia had grown up with a maid who worked for her family for 29 years. That maid had been with her since she was little, teaching her many life lessons. But when Nia came back from college, the maid was suddenly gone. Her parents vaguely said she went back to her hometown, but Nia knew that wasn't the whole truth. Later, she got a job at a newspaper, hoping to make a difference. At a party, she saw firsthand the hardships black employees faced, and it was there that she met Abby. Nia decided she would speak up for these maids. She went to the editor-in-chief, hoping to write about the real lives of black maids, but the editor knew this kind of story would be tough to run, because if they spoke out, they'd risk losing everything. Yet Nia was sure Abby would help her, and the editor finally agreed to give her a chance. Nia found Abby, hoping to learn more about the maids' lives. At first, Abby hesitated, scared of the trouble it could cause, but when she heard about Minnie's story, she made up her mind to help. Minnie came over to Abby's house, but when Nia asked questions, Abby didn't know how to answer right away. Those painful memories were all written in her notebook. In the following days, they met frequently. Abby felt that her current employer was becoming more and more irresponsible. She never held her own children, nor showed any love. And now, the employer was pregnant. Abby thought, if a mother can't even love her own child, then she shouldn't have had one. If that word got back to the white